Have you ever walked around an American semi-truck, looked behind the wheel, and thought, wait, why are those still drum brakes? Because if you look at a modern European truck, a Scania, Volvo, MAN, or Mercedes, you'll almost always see disc brakes instead. Cars switched to discs decades ago. European trucks followed. But American semis? Many of them are still stopping 40 tons with technology that looks like it belongs in another era. So, why is that? Let's find out. At a glance, trucking looks global. Freight moves, trucks roll, goods arrive. But if you zoom out, American and European trucking developed under completely different conditions. In the United States, long-haul trucking is exactly that. Long. Freight regularly travels thousands of kilometers on wide, straight interstate highways. Speed changes are gradual. Traffic flows steadily. Once a truck reaches cruising speed, it might hold that pace for hours with minimal braking. In Europe, the picture is very different. Trucks pass through dense cities, tight roundabouts, mountain passes, and older road networks, never designed for modern freight volumes. Speed changes are frequent. Braking is constant. Descents are steeper and more sustained. Those environments shaped braking systems from the very beginning. When the US interstate system expanded in the mid-20th century, drum brakes weren't just common, they were ideal. Drum brakes excel at handling continuous loads. They don't cool as quickly as disc brakes, but they also don't heat up as aggressively under steady use. That matters when you're slowing a fully loaded truck gradually over long distances, rather than repeatedly braking hard. Early American engineers weren't designing for emergency stops every few minutes. They were designing for stability, durability, and predictability over endless highway miles. And drum brakes delivered exactly that. They were simple, tough, and forgiving. Dirt, water, road salt, drum brakes kept working. They were easy to service almost anywhere, even in remote parts of the country. Any mechanic knew how to rebuild them. Parts were cheap, abundant, and standardized. Once millions of trucks were built around that system, it became deeply embedded in the entire industry. A lot of people assume disc brakes are automatically superior because they're used on cars, but heavy trucks play by different physics. In a car, braking is sudden and frequent. You need instant bite and rapid cooling. Disc brakes are perfect for that. In a 40-ton truck, braking is about managing energy, not just stopping quickly. Drum brakes absorb heat slowly and release it slowly. That means during long downhill grades, especially when paired with engine braking, they stay within a stable operating range. Disc brakes, by contrast, heat up quickly and cool quickly, which is great for performance driving, but can be a disadvantage under constant heavy load. This is one reason why American trucks rely so heavily on engine brakes. The service brakes aren't meant to do all the work. They're part of a system where speed control starts in the engine, not at the wheels. If there's one thing that truly explains America's continued use of drum brakes, it's engine braking. Jake brakes and compression brakes are a fundamental part of US trucking culture. Drivers are trained to control speed with the engine first, especially on long grades. Service brakes are there as a backup, not the primary tool. In Europe, engine braking is used too, but tighter roads and stricter noise rules limit how aggressively it can be applied. That shifts more work to the service brakes, where discs shine. In the US, engine braking dramatically reduces brake wear, heat buildup, and failure risk, making drum brakes more than sufficient for the job. Another major factor is maintenance. American fleets operate on razor-thin margins. Trucks run massive mileages, often far from major service centers. Downtime is expensive. Drum brakes last longer under heavy loads. They're less sensitive to corrosion, debris, and uneven wear. When they do need service, they're cheaper to rebuild and more tolerant of imperfect conditions. Disc brakes, while excellent performers, require more precise maintenance. Pads and rotors wear faster under extreme weight. Replacement costs are higher and servicing demands tighter tolerances. In Europe, trucks generally run shorter routes, return to base more often, and are serviced under stricter schedules. That makes disc brakes a practical choice. In the US, durability often matters more than refinement. Europe didn't switch to disc brakes because drum brakes suddenly became unsafe. The switch happened because regulations evolved differently. European lawmakers pushed for shorter stopping distances, better electronic stability control, advanced ABS, and braking integration. Disc brakes respond faster and more precisely, especially in emergency situations. They integrate better with modern safety systems and behave more consistently across different driving conditions. As safety regulations tightened, disc brakes became the easiest way to comply. In the US, regulations focused more on outcomes, not methods. If a truck meets braking performance standards, it's legal regardless of whether it uses drums or discs. So fleets stuck with what already worked. Are drum brakes less safe? Statistically, no. American semi-trucks meet the same fundamental safety requirements. Brake-related accidents are far more often caused by poor maintenance, improper loading, or driver error than by brake design. Drum brakes, when properly maintained, are extremely reliable. The perception problem comes from cars. In passenger vehicles, drum brakes disappeared because they couldn't handle repeated hard stops at high speeds. Trucks don't operate under these same conditions. Different machines, different physics. Disc brakes are gaining ground in the US, but not as a replacement, more as an addition. You'll increasingly see them on severe-duty trucks, urban delivery fleets, electric and hybrid trucks, vehicles with advanced driver assist systems. Electric trucks in particular change the equation. Regenerative braking reduces service brake use, and electronic systems favor the responsiveness of discs. But for classic long-haul diesel trucks running coast to coast, drum brakes still make sense. And that's why they're still here. It's tempting to frame this as old versus new, drum brakes versus disc brakes, America versus Europe, but that misses the point. American trucks didn't fail to evolve. They evolved in a different direction. Drum brakes aren't a relic, they're a solution optimized for long distances, heavy loads, and a driving environment unlike anywhere else in the world. Europe didn't move on because drums were bad. They moved on because their roads demanded something different. And until the American trucking environment fundamentally changes, don't expect drum brakes to disappear anytime soon. Because sometimes the best technology is the one that fits the job perfectly. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for much more. And if you like this video, you might also enjoy this.